Welcome to the program. We are pleased to have your renewed confidence in us on your favorite program, Press R. On today's edition, we are asking the question, regional executive, experience or old guard? And on the debate panel, we have Professor Elvis Ngole. He's a political scientist. He is also a member of the CPDM Center Committee. Welcome to the program, Prof.
Thank you very much, Killian, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
And your
Thank you.
organization.
We have Mr. Ngambong Anthony. He is the mayor of Wum. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Yeah, it's my pleasure being around this time around.
Okay. It is the first time you are.
It's not the first time I've been here. It's not the first time.
We are glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, next to you is Ndi Eugene. Ndi, he is the publisher of Newswatch newspaper. Welcome, sir.
It's a pleasure being back again.
Yes, and we have somebody who has been away, Bless Aminde Atabong, a freelance reporter who is also an editor. We're glad to have you on our set today, Bless.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be back in Fatherland, and it's nice to be on set to discuss on such a topical issue.
Yes, and you have so many topical issues that we're going to talk about beginning today. We begin with a press review. There was not so much that the press talked on this week because most of the papers went on break, but some papers actually published, and we're going to share with you what we had in the newspapers. Beginning with the Guardian Post, President Paul Biya offers gifts worth 600 million CFA francs to internally displaced persons from the Northwest and Southwest regions, victims of the crisis. The Crown newspaper carries the PM's message to the chiefs, asking them to beef up security in the Southwest during the current end-of-year festive period. Still on the PM's visit to the Southwest, the Chronicle Times quotes Dr. Joseph Diongute, who says Cameroon can't do anything without unity. The Sun's concern is on the two presidents of the regional assemblies of the Northwest and Southwest regions, Professor Fru Anglophone and Mr. Elango Zaccheaus, whom he writes have to deliver the special status to the Northwest and Southwest. The National Bilingual Daily Cameroon Tribune calls presidential appointments of some secretaries general at governors' offices, as well as appointment of divisional officers, as a retribution of cards. The Post newspaper that remembers its late publisher Francis Wache a year on also recalls the Ngabu massacre, quoting lawyers who want administrative and military officials in court. The Voice and the Municipal Updates report on Chief Moja, who after meeting the PM in the Southwest region retracts on hate speech he has been propagating. That's what we went through. The press, as you saw it, some of the newspapers are on break during this end-of-year festive period. They are feasting elsewhere. We followed what the newspaper said, and of course the election of the regional executive, the president of the regional councils in the North assemblies in the Northwest and Southwest, and then regional councils in the 8 other regions of the country. And our topic is regional executive, experience or the old guard. Now, I'm going to start with you, Prof. Just briefly, we're going to go around the table. You're going to talk about experience briefly.
Yes, as you know, experience is it's like a teacher. It's a good teacher. It's like a book, and I don't want to say it's a diploma. It's a certificate. When you have experience, means you have a wealth of knowledge. You've had lots of practice. You are mature, and you are able to confront and manage certain challenges or problems that you meet, and that gives you the capacity to be able to anticipate and manage problems which have not yet been made present. No matter where you go in the world, as management requires that one of the criteria for determining whether or not someone is good for a particular function or a particular position is experience, because experience is a worldwide element that enables an employer to judge.
We're going to go into
the ability
details.
for someone to manage.
That's what we're going to talk about. So
experience was important here.
Yes, we're going to talk about it and then look at those people and how experienced they are. Yeah. I come to you, Mr. Ndigambong Anthony, the mayor of Wum. Experience, you also share Prof's view?
Yeah, thank you. You realize that the Constitution of the Republic of Cameroon says that for you to be a regional councillor, you must be able to read. Read and write. All those councillors who have been voted can read and write. I want to let you know that I believe in the fact that God does not call the qualified. God qualifies the call.
Wow.
Which means that those who have been elected, we have a lot of trust and confidence. They have been called. In the book of Romans 18, all leadership comes from God. So they have been elected as regional presidents. They have been called by God, and God certainly will qualify the call.
Yes, the other part of the question we are asking is the old guard. By old guard, I mean they are aged people, and some of them are faces that we know, the same people.
I want to say that age is actually of the mind, and people can deliver at certain ages. You can take somebody who is quite young and he will not be able to deliver. I think if I take the example of the Northwest where I come from, so Fru Anglophone is an experienced hands, very experienced in many other aspects, and we are very sure and confident that it's going to deliver the necessary goods.
Eugene, you are young, you don't have experience.
I am young, and if I go by Professor Elvis Ngole and Mayor Ndigambong, it means I cannot hold any position in this country. If I go by what they are saying, because I am very young, then I don't have experience, it means I cannot hold any position in this country. Reason why I'm going to differ with with them, it is normal. I'm going to differ with them on what they are saying about the experience and the whatever they are trying to justify. I would say that the election of regional executives is just somewhat like the election into the United Councils and Cities of Cameroon, where my very good friend and teacher in GSS Tabi Kane then was running and later backed out, as news was reported anyway. And if he is sitting on this platform and telling me that we need experienced people to be leaders, I see that he was inexperienced to run for UCCC president.
Say that experience is not by it doesn't go with age. I started, you are talking about Tabiken. While I was in Tabiken, I was running competitions in Wum then at the age of 26. So that I gathered a world of experience. By the time I was 30 years, I already experienced. Okay. So younger people should take responsibility at younger ages and become experienced while they are young.
You are just citing Professor Fru Anglophone, who is 69, who is 59 or so. If I'm not mistaken, he should be 59 years or so, or thereabout. And you are talking about experience, talking about somebody who is 59. And when you are at 30, like me, I am just slightly above 30. I've been running competitions as well. I've been doing other things too. Meaning I don't have experience, according to what you are saying.
That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I have just quoted you one of the examples. There are few people who could run. I was running Menchumigos in those days. At the age of 29, 30.
I managed Bang Bullet FC of Kmer as well. I managed Bang Bullet FC.
That's what I'm saying. It is not only football. There are other aspects that you go to other aspects.
I can also show you the one I do.
In 2002, 2007, the population came out. If I'm not the YC section president, no other person here because of what they had seen me done.
Okay.
So it is.
Thank you.
It's not by age. It's not age. That's what I'm saying.
You need the old people. We are talking about old guards who are there, and the old guards.
The old people.
Old guards age-wise. Old guards age-wise.
His experience.
We are yet to go into this.
I have not talked generally about age.
No, not Mayor. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. I'm the one who brought in the age.
Yeah.
I am the one who brought in the age factor. Yeah. Because when we talk about old guards, and I look at those who are there, and you people are saying they are there because of experience, I see myself already disenfranchised because I don't have the experience.
Okay,
I don't have the age.
I don't think that's
I mean, Bless, what he's saying, generally in some places, you unemployed people are asked to hand in a certificate or an attestation of 10 years experience. That's what he's talking about. You share with the prof, or you share with
I do share with prof with the fact that experience is a very vital aspect when it comes to leadership. But just like Prof rightly said, that experience is like a book. There is need for revision because books get outdated. And when these books get outdated, they need to be revised. So I don't think we should just back on the fact that experience. There's need for constant revision as we move along.
No, make it clearer. What do you mean by that?
Like
contextualize it.
Okay, like let's look at these two aspects, experience and age. Because it is very likely that to have the experience, you need to be a little older. Yeah. And the experience we are talking about may be outdated because now we are in the digital age. Some of these old guards, they have the experience, but their experience is outdated. That's what I actually mean. And when it comes to legislation, they'll be legislating based on their experience and not the experience of a vibrant, a young generation.
Okay, thank you very much. We have to propose the people for you, all the 10 presidents, the regional presidents, and the presidents of the assemblies in the case of the Northwest and Southwest regions. In this report done for us by Constantine Bom.
The election of the Executive Bureau of the first ever regional councils comes to fast-track Cameroon's decentralization process in the Northwest region with special status. Professor Anglophone III was elected president of the regional council. Another region with special status is the Southwest, and to lead the deliberations for that region is Zacchaeus Bokoma Elango. In the final region, Daniel Kalbasu was elected as the executive of the region. He shall be the interlocutor of the representative of the state, while in the North region, Alim Buka was elected as pioneer president of the regional council. He will be the one to authorize the revenue and expenditure of the region. The lone opposition candidate comes from the Adamawa region. From the NUDP party, Dr. Muhammadu Dewa will manage the property of the Adamawa region. Woumane Mbele now stands tall as president of the regional council in the East region. Meanwhile, in the West, Dr. Jules Hilaire Foka is the interlocutor of the representative of the state. The South region has as president of the regional council Emmanuel Mve Elemva. In the littoral region, Polycarp Banlock is the one to prepare and implement regional council deliberations. And in the central region, Gilbert Nchimi Vuna made a strong comeback into politics as he was elected regional council president. The 10 presidents are the executive organs of the regions, and they all have a 5-year mandate to decide.
Thank you very much, Constantine Bom. Prof, before we brought in this report that has presented the 10 presidents of regional councils and of the regional assemblies in the case of the Northwest and Southwest regions, the debate was already generating a lot of heat in terms of experience.
Generating, and it is good, it's rich. What Eugene was saying and the mayor, actually, I mean, there's no conflict between the two approaches. What we have to know is that when you are in a management situation where you have to choose between or amongst candidates, there are elements of management that you have to use to enable you to make the choice. And among those elements are experience. The other elements are academic qualification. The other elements could be character. The other elements could be what your record, your judicial record, other elements.
In the same light, within this context, the party also has to, given what happened in the Northwest, when some other people were brought in, Mr. Winding was brought in, he argued that he was not representative of the region.
Yes, yes. I mean, all those elements, because the whole idea is that that it's not that age is the factor or the element that you have to ignore or take into consideration. Of course, age is important, especially in our case. As Eugene is saying, almost 60 to 70% of our population is made up of young people. And young people who are qualified, like Eugene and the others, they are qualified.
And
nobody
you're saying
denies
that most of those who are governing, taking the case of the regional executive, are all the old guard. And
but not, I mean, when they use the word old, it's as if it's old versus young. It is not that they're old and therefore they're useless, or that those who are young are the ones that are most useful, because age is not a certificate, and it's not the only factor when you want to make a choice as to who has to be elected or appointed. In the present case that we're talking about, the regions, this is a new day, something new in our lives. For 60 years, we've never had such a thing. And we are about to try a new sort of form of governance in Cameroon. And the managers, in this case, the people who are the electorate, in this case, the parties that have invested, the candidates, have decided that among the elements they have to start with in this new dispensation, they have to make sure that experience counts, because it's new. If they take a chance and use another element, they might make a mistake. But in making that decision, did they ignore the youths, such as Eugene? No, they didn't, because they know that, first, you cannot ignore the youths. They are a big chunk of our population. Secondly, these youths are very qualified. You cannot ignore that. But then, even those who are experienced are qualified also. So when you look at the various elements, you see that the dichotomy between youth and old, if you use that alone, you might make a mistake. What you should therefore emphasize is those quantifiable elements that enable you to make a decision. And in making the decision, you will see that when you look at the composition of the executive bureau, you will see that even though the experience determined the choice of the president, but in the other members of the bureau, they made sure that they are not all people of a certain age. They are people of different ages.
I think that
including young people.
I am happy with his explanation, but there are two things that quickly I just want to talk about. Professor Elvis Ngolengole is director of the CPDM Academy, and Professor Elvis Ngolengole, the CPDM won in 9 of 10 regions. In which of these regions did the CPDM invest a youth or a woman? In which? None.
No,
Eugene wasn't running.
Yes.
Eugene wasn't running, but Eugene knows his age mates who were running in these regions, who the party that you are a senior official in did not invest any of them for the position. Go to the Northwest, the whole executive, for instance, the 8-man executive. Show me just one youth, just one. Youth amongst, if we youth in terms of youth, show me just one. The Southwest region, one youth amongst the 8, and I will accept that your party did. But as it stands, your party did not invest youth, your party did not invest women.
From what I know, I mean, to respond to him is that
explanation?
Our party promotes youths and women in particular, and if you look at among the 900 regional councillors, there are lots of youths. Among the 900 regional councillors, or I mean, actually among the 700, because the 200 councillors, regional councillors are chiefs. We have no control. The party has no control over those. But of the 700 regional councillors that were elected, at least for the regions where the CPDM won, you discover that, and the CPDM won in 9 out of 10 regions, meaning 9 times 70, there were lots of youths on that list.
Okay. We understand that, but his point
how many
is
of the
saying
youth?
that, the youth
How many of the youth are in the regional executive? That is what I told you that I know of many young people who ran for the elections, but my worry, how many of them are in the regional executive? If you say you promote youth, so you just promote them to go and clap for the old guards?
Okay,
no,
now
they're not clapping.
we get that, Anthony. This, would you, as Prof is saying, Eugene is countering that motion. Youth and age is not actually the parameter. That's what Prof is saying.
Yeah, I want to say that age and experience are two different words and have two different meanings. As he says in English and in French, the pouvoir s'arrache. Power is seized. What do I mean by this? It's not that you come and you're fighting to seize power. No, you carry out activities to show that you are responsible. Responsibility comes with your activities. I gave my example. There are so many examples I can give. If you go to France, Macron is a young man. He's proved he could be president, and he was elected. There was no law that said that for the presidential election for this year, it must only be youth. Was there something like that? No. He proved his worth and he was elected. When I was elected mayor in 2013 in Wum, I was the YCPDN section president. The section executive was there, were the older people. Nobody was elected from there. Because I proven my worth, I want to use this to challenge Cameroonian youths that we have to sit up and be responsible. Carry out our responsibility, work for this community. Start from your different communities, your local areas, and carry out activities. Show the population you are responsible. When the time comes, I bet you will not need to canvass with them. So people come and say that without this young man. I remember in 2002, when I went in for the first election, for parliamentary elections, the mothers were saying that we only vote that our young child with that white Opel cadet. I used to have an Opel cadet. To tell you that when you are responsible, people say that is the candidate. You will not need to be fighting.
Now, I'm going to stay with you with the example you used, that of the President of France, President Macron. He didn't start like a member of the party, it was a movement.
Yes.
If I'm making a mistake.
Yes.
Do we have those opportunities in Cameroon for youth to find their way into the circle of leadership?
Today we have Cabral Libri, who came up with a political party. It must not necessarily be a movement. There are political parties. He has come up with a political party. Today he has councils. Tomorrow you will see him having member of parliament and so on. He has five members of parliament. He has councils. He has councils. So on. Tomorrow you see him getting to. So that is an example of what you just asked.
Now it's not a matter of age and youth again. I mean they blessed.
Yeah, I just want to come back to the issue of experience. Let's look at it practically. I'll take the case of the Central region, where the former government, the government delegate to the city council, with the world of experience he has had. I don't think when he was government delegate managing a city council, he lived up to the billing that will warrant him to have a greater tax, because there was a point in time when I had a foreign colleague who visited Yaoundé, and we drove from Simaleng right up to downtown at the central post office, and he kept on asking me, when are we getting to the city center?
What did he mean?
He meant that, like, it was so shabby from Simaleng, like, and the person who has been elected to now lead the regional council for the central region, he didn't live up to the billing there. I don't think with the experience that he amassed, he's going to do anything better.
I think that it is almost unanimous that the former government delegate to the Yaoundé Urban Council has set the pace. He has done so much for that. I don't know, your friend, what was his parameter of...
Okay, like, if I don't think personally, I've been reporting from across the continent, and he didn't come out of the continent. I don't think Yaoundé is a city that you can be proud of. Prof knows that you're widely traveled.
Yes, and compared to what it was before. I mean, everyone knows that.
No, we can't use that type of basis to compare to what it was before. We need to compare to what a modern city should look like.
Okay.
Yeah, not what it used to look before.
Okay.
When he came in, I mean, he met Yaoundé the way it was, and all of us are living witnesses. But by the time he left, after 15 years of being there,
yes,
I mean, Yaoundé has been transformed.
No,
and everyone in the world takes note of that, even diplomats.
He takes credit for that.
Maybe he could have done better, that's a different story.
Yes.
But has he transformed Yaoundé or not? I think we all agree that
we don't agree on that level. He hasn't done much for the city of Yaoundé as a capital city. Yeah. Yaoundé is not where it's supposed to be, or like a city one can be proud of.
I'm sure. Okay, so I don't think
maybe actually we have to be bold enough as people who have lived in Yaoundé, seen it transformed to what it is today, to say that Gilbert Chimivuna, who becomes the president of the Central Regional Council, did much and has to take credit for that. And let us continue in the same light. We talked earlier with the National Communication Secretary of the CPDM, your party, Prof, who says that these people who have come in, they are experienced, they are true supporters of their parties, and that with their coming in, there will be peace, there will be development. Let's listen to him.
We know that they were chosen, our candidates were chosen by the national president because of their militancy, of their experience, of their competence, of their loyalty toward the CPDM party and the Republican institutions. And the Secretary General of Central Committee Party, Comrade John Nkwete, notes that they will be very performant and very loyal when they will exert their responsibilities. And the Secretary General of the party, CPDM party, Central Committee of CPDM, is very satisfied because these elections were characterized by peace, by serenity in the 10 regions. And we hope that their mandate, the mandate of the regional councils will be very important for the history of our dear and beloved country. We know that decentralization will be enhanced after these elections. We know that Northwest and Southwest regions will have special status. It is very important for these regions, for the peace in these regions. And we know that after these elections, peace will be reinforced in these regions. And these regions will go on to develop this part of our dear and beloved country, Cameroon, in peace, in serenity, because the special status will reinforce this decentralization, which is very important for our dear and beloved country, Cameroon. And the CPDM party, the national president, and the Secretary General of Central Committee are committed to enhance the local development of our dear and beloved country of Cameroon. And I know that all will be very, very clear for all the councillors.
Eugene, I confess to you, he has said so many things, experience, competence, loyalty, and particularly he has said with the regional executive as an achievement point of decentralization, there will be enhanced decentralization, peace will be reinforced, and we'll have more development.
I first of all appreciate Professor Jacques Famendongo for being very fluent in English. One of the rare moments I've seen him speak English that way. Professor Elvis Golengole, I think he has my encouragement.
Indeed.
But I don't agree.
You know, he's the Chancellor of the Academic Orders. He is the Minister of State.
All those accolades don't make him bilingual.
Yeah.
But I say he has spoken English today more than I have ever heard him speak, and that I'm appreciating him for that. But what he has said is what is of concern to me. I was expecting Professor Elvis Golengole, by the time he was enumerating the investiture, to talk about loyalty to the party, but he did not say so. Neither did
his national chairman, national communication secretary,
Mayor Dikabo Anthony, who was elected in 2002 or in 13.
Yes.
So that's more than 7 years ago. Who was elected 7 years ago? I doubt by then whether he was 40. I don't know how loyal he was to the party by then. I don't know when he started militating. Because all of you are avoiding talking about loyalty to the party. Does development means loyalty to the party? That is where the problem is, because when you people keep saying loyalty to the party as one of the conditions to invest somebody to run for an election under the party ticket, I doubt if I am loyal to the party and I cannot champion any developmental issues.
It is done everywhere. Loyalty to the party is done everywhere.
I have done a training.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I want to.
No, we shouldn't be taking loyalty to the party to be a very big consideration. That's what I'm saying. You must belong to a party. That is, if you want to run under that party, for an office under that party, you must belong. But when people keep saying loyalty to the party, it shows in our Cameroonian context, loyalty to the party is far more than the ordinary man would think.
Okay. I will just say something. I was talking like a mayor. Now, for me talk like a party, CPD and party militant.
Yes.
I have done trainings. The party sent me to China in 2015, and I learned something there. Unfortunately, I want to say here, the case of Cameroon is even a bit different from loyalty that you have been talking about. In China, you cannot be anything if you don't belong to the ruling party. You cannot. And let me just
compare China with Cameroon. China is a communist country.
Let me just say something.
You can't compare with
let's talk reality. Let's talk reality on the ground. No, the mayor cannot be comparing what happens in China, which is a communist state. You cannot be comparing what happens in the communist state, the one party system, to what happens in Cameroon, where we are.
Let me tell you, China, don't get confused. Thing. In China, it's not a one party. It's just that one party is overshadows. There are 8 other political parties in China. For your information.
Their voice?
For your information. Yeah, their voice might not be there, but there are other political parties in China.
So literally, it's a one party state.
We have not said one party state. For example, some people say there is one party state in Cameroon also. That's what some people say. Because of the dominance, the CPDN has. In all parts of this country, CPDN has its role. True or false? The other parties do not have. I want to tell you about loyalty. That's what I want to differ a bit, because the problem of loyalty in Cameroon, I'm with my political boss here, but I want to make this clear. Unfortunately, in Cameroon, when you are given an appointed position, that's when you become so loyal to the party, which is not supposed to be the case. You are supposed to be loyal, and from the loyalty, you become or get to that position that you have been given.
You got that, Blaise.
Yeah, but I want to react to Professor Fami's observations, which he made. Like, he gave the impression that peace was just hanging somewhere, and with the election, it will be reinforced, development will come, and all of that. But I think we should look at the bigger picture, because even with the elections, even if this election comes, there are other things which may hamper that development, like some of the policies at the state level, like the fiscal policies in place and the monetary policies can also hamper this thing. And we even stand a greater risk as we are getting into the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which is beginning next year. We'll see our markets being flooded with goods which we could be producing locally, but because of some of these policies which are in place, which are not very friendly, we are going to maybe suffer from the shock of this after. So I think when we want to talk about development, we need to look at it from a holistic perspective.
Yes, Prof, I will come to you. You are National Communication Secretary,
Yes.
Professor Jacques Famdongo, Minister of State, made all those declarations. Some of them you have already made mention earlier.
Yes.
But the point I want to put forward here is, when we say experience, these people, following what Amanda says and what some other people have said on this set today and earlier, are these people who have been voted,
Yes.
accepted by the base to bring the peace he's talking about, that has failed from other people, because that's why we are questioning the new executive.
Yes.
Experience or old guard. Are they just their view?
No, I think, first of all, I'll join Eugene to congratulate the Minister of State, Professor Famdongo, for his brilliant declaration in English. That's a good example that all Cameroonians should follow, and he's showing that good example in the way he expressed himself. But in terms of substance, you notice that he harped on and he emphasized the fact that party loyalty and peace were important. This is because, you know, we are in a democracy, and democracy is based on freedom to choose, freedom to decide, freedom. But at the end of the day, the law recognizes that no matter how good you may be as an individual, in terms of your qualification, experience, and all whatnot, character, and so forth, for you to be elected to a public office in Cameroon, you have to be invested by a recognized, registered political party. And once you have accepted that a political party should invest you as their candidate, it means you have accepted that whatever you plan to do on the post when you are elected will be in line with the political platform and the political vision of that party. And Professor Famdongo is emphasizing on that party loyalty, because some individuals, as we know, when they become elected, or after they become elected, they start behaving as free electrons.
That's why
they forget that
disciplinary committee,
and that's when disciplinary sanctions come. And sometimes they don't achieve, because somehow once they're elected, they feel like they've made it, they've arrived, and they forget that no, you are elected following a certain procedure, a certain process, and a certain ideological premise, and you have to
follow, continue to do the line. Now, please, this is the question I ask because what we are treating today is regional executive, experience or old guard. Now, the question I ask you, thanks for the clarification, is we have had cases where people say the people that come to ask for peace, to preach peace, are not the people the base accepts. We're asking whether these people, with the experience,
can I just say something?
Okay.
Yeah, that light. We know that the Code on Regional and Local Authorities says that in its section 2.1 says that the Republic shall have local authorities that shall be regions and councils. The regions have come in. I think that no one shall have supervisory authority over the other. I want to be clear about that, section 2.3. I want to go back to say that peace is not an event, it's a process. What do I mean by this? It depends on the activities that will be carried out on the field. Those activities will certainly bring peace. I want to pray that the regional people who have been put in place, because today, part of the anger which is in the northwest and the southwest is because projects have not been carried out. There has been little development which has been done and things like that. So we are hoping and praying that the new teams that are coming in place, if they do their best, if they work with the councils, if they do their carry out their full responsibility, be patriotic, I want to bet you within a short time you will see peace come.
And just after that, what you are saying, we also talked with the national president of another political party, but this time an opposition party, who proposes something that we're going to watch. Just watch him.
Well, I am very much delighted that the executive of regions is already in place. In the region where my party was a contender in the north. Everything went smoothly according to expectation and rule and regulation. But unfortunately, they failed to keep in mind that all the political parties which took place during this competition ought to have been there in order to share their talent, their capacity, and to be part. This unfortunately has not been the case. FSNC, Cameroon National Salvation Front, which took place, unfortunately, we are not in the executive of the region. But it doesn't matter. We accept the rule. This is the rule of the game. We accept the rule. And we have to brace ourselves, be ready next time when such an election takes place, to be ready really, to be present strongly in order to impose ourselves as such. The second aspect which comes to my mind is the fact that this decentralization should be at least the reflection of federalism. What do I mean? By the day-to-day running of the region, I wish this to resemble, or they must operate as if this were a kind of federalism which does not call its name. I don't know if I am understood, you see. So on the burden of the manager, they have a heavy responsibility to be successful. Not only to be successful, they are successful in such a way that they have nothing to envy federalism.
Yes, Lord Mayor, I took it from you. You see, he's developing the idea that you brought up, that on the ground, they should show that they are doing something. The grassroots should forget about some of their grievances.
Yeah, exactly. And how can they do this? The regions are going to function similarly to councils. What do I mean by this? There are three levels of governments, the center, region, and council level. And the regions have the latitude to do deliberations, because there will be regional orders, there will be regional deliberations that a region can sit down and deliberate on. This is what we want for this region. And once the regional council has deliberated and adopted and approved, they have to engage in that.
They have to execute.
They have to execute. And there are even chances of the fact that part of the resources can be devolved to some, it's mentioned in the law, to some regions, depending on some specificity, that depending on the challenges they have. So if they have a good deliberation to develop a region, the state will be ready to finance or fund what development project they want to carry out.
Listen to that interview.
Yes.
Has a lot of proposals.
Like Isa Chiroma, I would say my former boss at communication, said, I don't know whether I understood him. He also asked whether he has been understood. But if I understood him well, he is proposing that Cameroon becomes a federal state.
That's not his proposal.
I said if I understood him well.
No, that's not his proposal.
He said decentralization should be a reflection of federation.
Without calling it by the name.
By not, even whether you call it by the name or not, he said so and said, without calling it the name.
No, if he says you should not call it the name, well, why are you calling it the name?
He says we should not call it the name. It doesn't mean that it's not federation.
We should appreciate what Minister Chiroma just said, because he is, first of all, as a true Democrat that he is, he believes in decentralization and he wants it to work and to succeed. Of course, in his own view, he would wish or would have wished that some members of his party that were elected in the region where he stood the elections, he would have wished to see them in the regional executive bureau.
In the north, just as a reminder, Prof, in the north region, particularly in Mayo Luti division, he had two. He had two candidates.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when they did the elections, of course, obviously the results were that his party was not represented in the executive bureau, and he would have liked to see them in. And that's what he really meant by federalism, because federalism, by definition, means a kind of power sharing, a kind of decentralization where there is power sharing. And he thinks that leaving out his regional councillors in the executive bureau is like defeating the idea of power sharing. But he is for decentralization, and he wants it to succeed. As to whether or not
he wants it to operate like a federation.
Yeah, without all
he doesn't want that they should call it. He should operate like a federation.
But he knows we are not a federation.
Yeah, we have to clarify it at that level.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's the regional election is the simple majority carries the day. So if it was a relative majority, then he could be thinking of sharing and
exactly. And he is a true Democrat because he believes in the next time. Yes. A true Democrat always believes in the next time. A true Democrat never gives up. He always thinks that next time around I'll do better, or I will get my wish.
Yes, bless you.
That's a good Democrat, Mr. Chiroma.
Yeah, I just want to add from what he said that our unique system of decentralization, it sounds very lofty. But my fear is that we may find ourselves having conflict in terms of interpretations of the legal text. I'm saying this because as a reporter working in Kumba, I covered city council sessions where grand councillors spend time arguing over interpreting the text between the sub-divisional council and the city. So I'm afraid that with the setup we have in place now, we may find ourselves having this conflict of interest in terms of project execution or maybe revenue generation and all of that. Yeah. So that's my fear.
Let me quickly give an answer to that, because people seem to be concerned about these conflicts. You know, the lawmaker has envisaged or had anticipated that there will be concern like this, because, those who made the laws or those who designed the decentralization document, they obviously had the opportunity and foresight to have seen what operates elsewhere. And they knew that in running these sort of systems, where you have different speeds, the local, the regional, and the central, the tendencies are that the actors will either out of excesses or out of excitement or overzealousness, they might want to go overboard. And so if you notice that in the decentralization document, if you look at it and the way the law is written, there is a mechanism for taking care of these sorts of conflicts, that particularly in the northwest and southwest, where you have the mechanism of a public independent conciliator, in addition to the mechanism which decentralization gives, which is that at any given moment where there are conflicts, such as Mr. Tabong is saying, the various actors, either local councillors or regional councillors, have the right to go to the administrative court and seek a legal redress or interpretation in order to avoid it.
We should know that our system is unique and it's not practiced elsewhere in the world.
Unique in what sense?
Like the structures we have in place, you don't find them in other countries. Which country has the same structures we have? There's none besides Cameroon in the world. So it's like an experiment we're engaging in, which I am raising the fear that along the line there may be these conflicts which we have experienced as a reporter.
When you say that, I don't know whether I know that there's a mayor in Boston, a mayor of Boston, and there's a mayor of there's modern. There are other small cities.
Which system do they use there? Federalism.
Federalism. That I know.
You can't compare with the
that
system. That's what I'm saying. The system we are using.
What do I want to say? Because what you have said. Let me just say something.
It has never been experimented anywhere else.
Let me tell you something. We must start from somewhere. Because what you are saying, it holds well. Because the same problem you are raising there is going to also affect the council and the regions now in place. But we have to, because for example, I want to develop something at Mention 4, for example. The region will want to come in that they are the ones who have to do that and so on. So we have to start. Let me tell you, there are cities in the US.
So are you saying that with those type of things, the General Code of Regional and Local Authorities have addressed that?
it has addressed it. But I think that with time, something will need to be done. We have to first of all learn from the experience.
The regional council cannot come to Menchum, not to Kambe, where I come from, to say they should do this.
That's right.
That's what I've just given you the example. That will also have conflict.
We then agree, yes, because time is not on our
by saying that the regional council, the development they are shouting is just white elephant from nothing.
Those are some of the
cannot be saying so. You cannot be saying so. Imagine the day the regional council comes to whom that they want to develop something. Are you sure that Mayor Dikabo will allow them to do that?
The work with the local council.
Yes. And we have to have an independent public conciliator who will now come in to see how we can resolve the problem. And we move ahead because all of us are about development at the end of the day.
The mayor cannot refuse the power of the region to carry out development in a
the region might be coming with more means. And then we will now have to consent together. How we come to a common ground to realize that.
Eugene, we're going to do a round of the set because we are running out of time with expectations. So what do you expect from this regional?
Quickly, before I go to expectation, we need to review experience that puts all guards in place. Good example, you cover the National Assembly. You are just coming out, we are just coming out of budgetary session. At the Senate, where the same law of all guards was used to put those who are there now, we saw that out of the 30 days that senators spent there were about 3 or so living senators that we did not see them anywhere.
Now your expectations?
My expectations are that there should be no conflicts between regional councils and local councils like that which Mayor Dikabo is heading.
Mayor?
Yeah, what I want to say is that the challenges are enormous. We have the structures already put in place. What we call on is patriotism. Let us have patriotism to be able to develop our nation.
Prof?
Yes, I think that we're all excited about decentralization in general and the special status in particular, and it's normal that people have concerns about the conflicts that may arise. These conflicts are very normal in every political system, but what matters is that we should all be optimistic about decentralization, and we should be excited, we who come from the northwest and southwest, about the value, what the special status holds as advantages for us. We have to use them. If we don't use them, we'll have nobody else to blame but ourselves.
Thank you very much. Bless Amendi.
Yeah, I think like everyone else, we just want speedy economic development. No matter what name it has, whether decentralization, federalism, whatever, we just want that so that we can bridge the wealth and income equality we're experiencing in our communities. And if that is done, we are maybe somehow sure that peace is going to return, the peace all of us are yearning for.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We also want to thank you watching us from around the world, from your homes. And if you missed out on the beginning of this program, you can watch it at your convenience on CRTV Web, Facebook. And if you have time tomorrow by 3 p.m., you have a rebroadcast of this program. Thanks for giving us your confidence. Have a nice day.
Dimanche à 13h30, les people se dévoilent.
C'était une chanson bouillon du village. C'est moi qui viens donc assaisonner.
En fait, je m'appelle Loco Samba, Charles Arthur. Notre Samba. Yeah. C'est l'intonation, c'est important, Samba.
Et salut à tous les téléspectateurs.
On danse, on chante et on se cultive.
Nous voulons faire un bilinguisme de masse.
Le divertissement est au top. C'est ainsi depuis des générations. Master Ivo et Eleanor Bissong battent le tam-tam du week-end. Tam-tam Week-end, c'est dimanche 13h30 sur la CRTV. CRTV au cœur de la nation.
Noël, joyeux Noël. Ensemble, fêtons Noël.
Et si tu devais le noter, Ruben?
Non, je ne vais pas le noter. On va pas se fâcher le 24 décembre.
Are you okay? Take your time.
Okay. Wow.
Nous, on nous avait acheté les salopettes. Moi, j'avais un souci, c'est que je ne connaissais pas véritablement porter ça. Il se peut donc que, quand tout le monde est parti dormir aux alentours de 3 h du matin, bah, le bon monsieur voulait aller aux toilettes. Il n'a pas pu aller aux toilettes, il n'a pas pu se déshabiller et tout le monde était KO. Imaginez un peu la suite du jour.
I should add my voice to these beautiful voices to wish you all a Merry Christmas.